Well, it's another morning, the 16th day of January 2026. And the truth is, I'm a very proud Kenyan. I'm a proud Luo. I'm a proud son of a woman born of a father. And I've been in this country the entire life, And this is the year 2026, when we just have about 16 months, 17 months to our national elections, And Kenya is about to go into, I don't know even how to describe it, but man, the next few months are just going to be a true reflection of shame, hooliganism, corruption, who knows, fights, deaths, tribal vitriol, and all that stuff. And as much as I really wanted to, at times, focus on my own life and just get off the so-called theater of the absurd that our very own Patrick Lumumba many years ago described how we do our political electioneering period. And if you thought that that would change us, well, you are in for a rude shock. Today is many years. I think that must have been 2012, if not 2007. And so it's almost 20 years later, and our politics is even worse. It's even a worse theater. And so this video has been pushed because I look at aspects of leadership and the law of the lead, literally by John Maxwell, talks about that a people can never rise above their leader, because the leader is supposed to be the vision bearer, the person in charge who is showcasing grit, wisdom, knowledge, habitual prosperity, a person who speaks and people are inspired to follow. And so I just wanted to ask Kenyans, what capacity of leadership have we entertained ourselves with? Because the quality and value of our leaders reflect what we tolerate, not what we appreciate. And it's annoying. It's for lack of a better word, it is disgusting. Recently, just about 2 days ago, and I want to address the Orange Democratic Movement. Unfortunately, politics and party politics in our country is still region-based, and hence tribal. And that is what we've accepted. We cannot blame anyone for that. Our development is still demarcated based on regions and tribes. And that is why, if I form a party as a Kamba, the first elective group I will seek relevance is Kamba people. If I do it as a Nandi, then I would go to the Kalenjin people for relevance. If it is Luo, then the Luo must back you up. And that is what politicians have perfected. I am so impressed that we have the likes of Babu Owino, Edwin Sifuna, Ndindi Nyoro. Okay, I'm trying to get any women in this game. Probably not yet. Maybe Wamushomba or Winnie Odinga could just be the people who are coming in to make this different. Crystal Asige, these young people who are beginning to make a difference in this space. And I appreciate that. that these are young people who are beginning to speak to the Kenyan voter, not to the Kikuyu voter, Kisii voter, Kamba voter, Luo voter, or whatever the hell it is. These are people who begin to speak and the country listens. And so the other day they were on the bench with Jeff and they articulated issues of what they are doing. And the truth is that is what the Kenyan now wants. Just about 2 years ago, whether politically instigated, whether financed or whatever, a new homogeneous group calling itself the Gen Zs came into the play. And a lot of things changed. We are tribeless, we are leaderless, we are colorless, we are whatever less. The only thing they had more was the energy, the vibrance to push for change. And that's all we need. That's all we need. And through that, we cannot still run away from crafting leadership. Because leadership is what inspires direction, is what takes us to go. And so today, the reason why I had to really push this video is because, man, Baba had a party called the Orange Democratic Movement. And him being Luo, it had to be associated with the Luo, unfortunately. Yet there were many other tribes in there. You're getting it? And we as Kenyans have made it so difficult for a Maasai to go to Western Kenya where they are Luyas and want to vie for leadership. We have the claim that he's not one of us. He does not know how we feel. He will not care about our issues. What issues are we talking about here? A leader is not a one-man show. Even if Obama came today and vied for the presidency of this country, all he needs is a team that will guide, inspire, control, and tell him the nitty-gritties of every single region. And when he understands that parameter, he will be able to move. Who said that it's only a Kamba who can understand Kenya? Or it's only a Kikuyu who can understand Nyeri? That is old politics. That is so 1992. We are in 2026. We have systems and structures in place. That means whoever we elect must not be one of us, must not speak our language. We have had people who have spoken our language for years. What have they given us? What have they developed? And so Gen Z, back to you, that this is the time for us to mobilize and speak like Kenyans. Unfortunately, we have too many of these Gen Zs who have been kept impoverished, needy, hungry, tired, that when they are mobilized to go for theatrics, they run in numbers because they are hungry. They don't have jobs. But that still cannot, must not, and will never be an excuse. We can do better. How many people have been given handouts forever? And where are they today? What do handouts do to you? It is time we upped our game and called our leaders for who they are. Stop the handouts culture and work. Tell the leader to put in the systems, to put in the infrastructure, to spend our taxes. For heaven's sake, these people are not spending their salaries. They are not spending their money. They are not the ones mobilizing these funds. It is taxes. And so we each have a right to have our taxes do what it is meant to do. And that is primarily why government exists. But we sit here and we are programmed and sort of like disillusioned into the space that Mheshimiwa is doing us favors. When somebody comes and does a road, no matter how shoddy, We are okay with saying, at least we have a road. At least we have a school. Somehow we got bursaries. What do you mean? That is why you put him in office, to facilitate all these things with your taxes. Did you hear somebody said, a mere 100 million? What can I do with a mere 100 million? That is your MP. Shame on you if that is your MP. A mere 100 million? And I know MPs who are driving cars worth 27 million. That's one car. How did they get there? So Kenyans, let me not digress. I can talk about this for the next 24 hours. But recently, the Orange Democratic Party, after the death of Baba, which is unfortunate, and Baba did not define a structure or a system of governance within the party, though on paper, all that is there within the party systems, and they should have known that if the party chairman or the party leader dies, what is the process of getting a replacement? All that is on paper, and it is there within the party systems and structures. But what are we experiencing today? Recently, this bunch of, I don't know what to describe them, but I've never been disappointed. I've never felt so low to be associated with this region of politics. That a whole bunch of people could go onto a stage that looks like a coffee table, and you could clearly figure out that even the so-called youth leader or party leader was struggling to talk. He was being told things that are gibberish, and he kept on insisting, let me talk, leave me to say what I need to say. It's like somebody had already orchestrated and choreographed something he was supposed to say. You could even see somebody behind him saying, say this 3 million that we're supposed to give people whose houses have been demolished. He couldn't even just put his thinking and thought line together to show you that this was not a planned agenda. It was random. But that's okay. The worst thing is too many so-called, I don't know whether to call them intelligent. You could hear people coming, introducing themselves, saying, I'm from this place, and the only thing they could say is two-term. We are for two-term. It is two-term. If you don't want, you will be blah, 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 blah. And that is what everybody kept coming to shout. Really? In 2026, a region known to have lecturers, professors, engineers, educated people? Maybe that is an overrating. Things have changed. So that got me angry, very angry. And the worst part is the place was packed. Look at the videos behind me. The place was packed. Who are those who filled that place in the Kamukunji? Look at the podium. It can't even just a basic structure of organizing a speech is not there. Organizing speakers, just organizing, basic organizing is not there. Are these the people we expect to organize our counties? Are these the people we expect to go sit down at the county assembly and discuss the future of this nation? Are those the people we are proud of, calling our leaders and shouting 2-term or 3-term or long-term or whatever term it is? Man, Kenyans, it is time we each got so angry and made a difference. Finally, why do we constantly feel we are at the mercy of politicians? I read some comments on the Jeff Koinange show, The Bench, where Ndindi Nyoro and Babu Owino were speaking. And so many people kept on saying, I wish this could be our leaders. I wish this could be the president and the deputy. I wish. And I'm like, why are we wishing? What is the purpose of your vote? Can't we be kingmakers? Can't we be kingmakers? Why do we have to wait for the politicians to come and say, this is what we've offered? To the extent that you hear certain people declaring their interests. Man, I look at some of the names declaring interest for even Nairobi gubernatorial position, and I get ashamed. It is outright embarrassing that Nairobi, being the capital city not just of Kenya but Africa, can have somebody who behaves, talks, looks like a goon, declaring that I want to be the governor of this city. And Nairobians are shouting. How low can we get? Man, there are people who should not even think of holding elective positions. No. Even just that thought of declaring I want to run. Yes, it is their democratic right, but even just thought of declaring I want to run should scare them. But they do. Why? Because I think it's a high time we've left politics and the governance, setup of governance institutions to people who, for lack of a better word, are just gang leaders and goons. That is what politics is. And so all the brilliant minds, all the people who want to shift this narrative are the ones who are instead scared to even declare. Because we've made it so expensive to run for office, we demand bribes, we demand handouts, and that's the culture. So anybody who feels like they can do better for the county assembly can't do it because it's so expensive to get into that office. And if we have never learned that people getting into that office and at that sort of an expense, that is why they can't deliver on projects, because they have to recoup their money. And still more and more and more for the next election. Can we as Kenyans say that in 2027, we are going to be the critical mass that changes this narrative? Can we pick people who we know are smart, intelligent, visionary, and with the wherewithal to want to make a difference so that we change? This is 2026, Kenyans. This is 2026. We still have a critical mass of unemployed, frustrated, hungry, angry young people. I have no idea what I want to even say about this. But that meeting, the Kamukunji that these leaders held in Kibra, that was an all-time low. That was embarrassing, disappointing, and for lack of a better word, insulting. We cannot entertain that. We can do better, we can do greater, we can change this nation. So as we go into our electioneering period and season, mine is just to call upon us. Can we identify leaders who can impact and make a difference? And not that we don't have them. You have seen. We have two people who are already outsmarting everybody else. Why don't we make them presidents? Why don't we elect them? It's because of our state of mind. We prefer hustlers and goons, people who will run all over the place, killing others, threatening others, insulting others, fighting, abducting. We prefer that kind of people. And then the nation goes down and down and down. Kenya is a great country. Kenya is a brilliant nation. Kenyans are amazing people. We are known for doing great things. Why can't we add just one more thing? Why can't we show the world our elections can be different? We can get leaders who will shift the narrative, change this nation, change Africa as a continent, and ultimately change the world. Haven't we produced leaders globally? I don't even have to mention their names anymore. But Kenyans, we are so good at too many things until we come to electing our leaders. That's where we draw the line. We go tribal, we go goons, we go gangs, we go to the ethnic balkanization. That is where we lose it. Yet leadership is the epitome of everything. From our GDP, our security, our health, our education, our innovation, our housing, infrastructure, everything. Leadership. And so that's my prayer. And that's why I had to do this video, because I've never felt so annoyed. Never felt so annoyed. And to know that this is the season we are getting into for the next 17 months, man, I don't know. I'm angry. It's pathetic. We can do better as Kenyans. And to you goons and thugs, and you claim you are unemployed, you are hungry, and so these handouts will make a difference. Trust me, somebody was there 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago. So if you are still there today, that does not work. Tell that mheshimiwa you want a job, you want an education, you want empowerment to do your own thing. And that's what they will not do. So that you can always be available to run around the entire day for 200 bob, for a soda, for a drink, for lunch. Is that what you are made of? It's time to say no. Kenya can do better. Let's elect wiser. Let's do something great. Thank you.